Hello. Thank you for listening to and watching You Had Options. This episode, I have Cody and Blake from the very good band CD Ghost. They have a new album coming out on November 11th on Born Losers Records. Yeah, great talk with them. Talk a lot of gear talk. I like gear. I want to be geared up. Yeah, talk about some synth artists and just artists that inspire in general. Yeah, great conversation. Go follow them on Instagram _CD Ghost. Go check out their singles right now. If Only is the latest single. On My Mind and Nowhere. Those are out right now that you can listen to. Yeah, thanks for listening. Go follow @youhadoptions everywhere. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. All that stuff. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Enjoy. We are now ready. Cody and Blake, thank you guys for joining me. Collectively CD Ghost. Yeah, I was listening to If Only and the other singles y'all have out. Y'all are about to release a full length, right?
Yeah.
Nice. How long have y'all been making music? Was it a COVID-induced project?
No. We dropped our first song as CD Ghost a week before COVID, or our first EP dropped before COVID started, like a week before, and then suddenly, time to slow down and not play shows, I guess, and then, yeah.
So have you guys played a show yet?
Starting this year, we played a lot of shows. We went on our first tour like a month or two ago with Dream Girl.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
I think the woman's first show like March 2021.
I forgot. I think it was like September or October, the first show ever. Blake was still abroad, and so our first show ever. Well, it was just a solo thing, just me. It was in New York, and yeah, it was crazy. Just kind of going so long without playing shows and seeing all our songs get traction, and then like after a year or two of like just going through COVID, like seeing it. Like how experienced the music live in a venue in front of people. So, and then ever since then, it's just been great. Oh, actually, no, the first show ever wasn't in New York. It was a warehouse party in LA before that.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. That was while Blake was abroad too. Yeah.
So are both y'all in California now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now we are.
That's cool.
I was last year I was in China for work, and I came back to California a couple months ago.
Okay. Were you teaching over there?
No, I was playing drums actually at a theme park at a Universal Studios.
Okay.
Yeah, I dressed up as a Viking every day, and I played drums.
How did you enjoy that? Was that fun?
Yeah. Can I cuss?
You let it fly, Blake.
Oh, so, yeah. It was pretty fucking sweet. Yeah, it was cool. I got got to work with a lot of cool people, and yeah, living in a different country is nice. And I just felt lucky to have work during COVID, honestly, especially as a musician.
For sure.
uh, yeah, so it was a good time. Honestly, I was like, a part of me was like deeply saddened that I wasn't able to be a part of like the first shows that CD Ghost had, just because I was in a different country. But I was like, rooting Cody on from thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it was a good experience. I'm glad to be back, though. Definitely.
Hell yeah. I went to Orlando recently for a brother's bachelor party, and we went to Universal.
Nice.
It'd been the first time since like, I don't know, I was a kid, 6 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never been to that one, but a lot of my coworkers had like come from that place, that park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Holy Land for Universal.
Dude, yeah, people are serious about it.
Yeah. So had y'all played in bands before, or was this y'all's first project together?
We like started playing in bands in like ninth grade. I think me and Blake met in high school in ninth grade. We're like all musician friends, did a lot of bands. I think my first show with Blake was with a post-hardcore screamo band. Blake was drumming, I was singing. We were 14.
Chain Reaction.
Yeah, Chain Reaction.
For all you anime fans or Anaheim fans out there. Anaheim, California. Oops.
Big anime following for Chain Reaction. Yeah.
I'm sure there's a
video of it. There's a video of it somewhere on YouTube.
Oh my god!
Little compilation of that Blake's dad made. You can barely hear, like it's like super distorted. You can see little Blake, little Cody, and like the rest of our bandmates just all blurry. It's like 240p.
Oh hell yeah, that's all you need. Anything else is masturbation. After that.
Yeah.
No.
And, we did some like after that we did some like we were in some jazz stuff together. We were also in marching band and
hell yeah,
most of the high school ensembles. And then after that, once we left for college and stuff, kind of split ways because college and all. And then end of college, we started doing a band again because me and Blake were like, okay, we call ourselves musicians and artists or whatever. And then like I've written like 4 songs in the past 10 years. Like, what are we doing? Like, let's just like what am I waiting to like get good enough to write a song, or that's not going to happen until I just start writing songs. I mean, Blake was like, yeah, we gotta do something about this. So we started a band. That was like a year or two before COVID.
That was like late 2018, I think.
Yeah, it's called Dream Cuisine.
I like it.
We had 3 other members. Blake was on drums, and I was playing keys for the first time in a band. I usually played guitar in bands until that point. So, actually, like that started because we had our first like rehearsal, just trying things out, and I was just too lazy to bring my guitar out. I was like, I had to get the pedals.
Oh man, it's the whole thing. Yeah.
And
I think we just like recently got a MIDI controller too, just like for fun. We're like, what if?
Yeah. So, and I was kind of messing around on Serum at that point. Like, I was making, because it was kind of born out of laziness. So I was like, man, I don't want to. I got tired of acoustic guitar, writing things, recording it. I was like, ooh, like synths, cool. And I was on FL Studio making chiptune, and then recreating synth patches from like Skrillex songs. And then I was like, Blake, check this out. Like this sounds like Eurythmics. Here Comes Again. What was it called? Here Comes the Rain Again, or
Here Comes the Rain Again. Yeah.
So we're like,
yeah.
So we're doing a cover of that song. I was like, oh, we don't need guitar. Let's just write things with synths. I kind of, less effort. Sounds cool, kind of. And then, that's kind of what got us into synths, pretty much.
Hell yeah. So right now, are you using like different plugins, or are you using like actual synthesizers
I gotta
to make
say,
stuff now?
If Serum wants to sponsor us, that would be, we're probably their best case study because we've made like our first 3 EPs have every single every single patch except for literally one pad has been on Serum.
Yeah, everything bass, synths.
Bass, leads, pads, whatever. So that's just all been Serum, and then like most of the effects we use are just like native Ableton ones, like Ableton's reverb, chorus, etc.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we use like certain plugins for like mastering and vocals and stuff, but yeah, for the most part we just use Serum like pretty deeply. We both like over the past year have gotten a lot more into analog synths, and I think that's just partially like for like we've never had like a hard opinion on like, oh, hardware is better, software is better, like whatever. It was at first it was just like we got into software synths because it was cheap and available, and recently we got a couple of hardware synths because we have more money now, like we're older.
Right.
Just, like I couldn't afford a hardware. Yeah, I couldn't afford a hardware synth when I was younger.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, like so maybe the next record will have like a mix. We'll see. But we definitely incorporate our hardware synthesizers just to like, give it a new feel. Also just fun.
Yeah, way more fun with analog stuff live. We kind of learned that, especially the last few shows. Like, it was like fueled by 2 things. Like, first thing was like Ableton would just like we would just run into a lot of issues with like organizing all the patches for live, and like sometimes it would kind of glitch, and my computer wouldn't be powerful enough, and then I was like, I just didn't trust Ableton at this point. I tried some analog stuff, and the past few shows, we did some analog stuff, and it was like, wait, it makes the song sound different, which makes it kind of more new to us and more fun to play. And so yeah, we're just hardcore analog now. We'll be soon probably.
Yeah, some people take a hard stance on like it's got to be all analog, but it's like, shit, you're spending 10 grand on synthesizers, or
Yeah.
We've got a lot of comments. We've got a lot of comments on like how people love our analog sound and use of analog synths, and we're just like, actually.
Yeah, those are little.
That's definitely a Juno.
Yeah. Do you break their hearts and tell them that they're not real, or do you just go along with it?
I only remember one time in person. There was a show in Denver where a guy said something like that. He was like, "Oh yeah, like is that this synthesizer on this song?" And I was like, "No, that's just software." But usually it's like YouTube comments or like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man, so
but that's a nice compliment, I guess.
Yeah. So what's y'all's live setup now? Is it easy to transport everything around? Like, how's that work?
Definitely. So we usually it's for tour we just have 2 of us.
Yeah.
Blake has his MIDI controller set up, and I think an analog, and then I'm usually on the microKORG playing every now and then. It's like 3 keyboards. It all fit in a little sedan when we were touring with Dreamgirl.
Plus 404 Roland for backing tracks.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of like the third member.
Pretty much, yeah. There's like it's just like 8 to 10 parts per song sometimes, and we're playing like only 3 of them. So
yeah.
Just when we play local shows though, next Friday we got an album release party. We have a third member on for that, and that's always pretty fun. And it feels more like a band. Like I think actually like last rehearsal we had, there was a moment in a song where we're just like, wait, like it's like every part right now playing is not coming from the rolling. It's just actually us. What the heck? It feels like we're like a band. That was weird. Like, one of the first, yeah.
A real boy band, a real grown up band. Yeah.
We're freaking out about it. It was.
Have you guys had just like because I haven't played with like a full like a band that relies like heavily on keys, but like I could see a meltdown happening like easily, or just like shit not working. Or have you guys had a horror story of that happen yet?
Yeah, every rehearsal it happens pretty much.
Well, that's good. There you go. You're practicing.
Yeah, literally every rehearsal.
No, but to be fair though, live we've avoided disaster, right? I mean, at least all the shows that I've been here for. Like the worst thing I can remember is like pressing a button to change the patch and it didn't change. So like I played the first note of the song on like a different patch, but then I could quickly change it after. That was like the weirdest thing that I can remember. But yeah, for some reason during rehearsal is like the laptop will be weird. Or
yeah, we've had really good luck live shows. Worst thing I've ever had happen live was me just unplugging like the roll-in accidentally because I tripped over it and it stopped the song halfway through.
Wow.
But other than that, yeah, pretty good so far.
It's so you guys were playing music before. Were there any like synth groups that kind of pushed you or inspired y'all to get more into synths?
At first, like it was kind of like an unearthing of, I don't know, like musical influences that I didn't realize were there. And I think it's safe to say for both of us, but I'll just speak for myself. Like once we started writing songs with synths, I started looking back. Like my mom would play a lot of like 80s music when I was a kid, or like anyone from Southern California. Jack FM would play a lot of like 80s top 40 stuff. That was always on in the car when my mom would drive. And like I never really like grew up thinking like, oh yeah, like, you know, I'm really a big like Duran head, or like I like, you know what I mean? Like I love New Order. Like that wasn't on my mind in high school, you know? But it was around a lot looking back as a kid, and now coming back to that music, obviously I think a lot of people are coming back to that music and being like, oh yeah, it's fucking sick. But I think a pivotal artist that was more modern for us, that we both discovered right around the time we started writing under our first band, Dream Cuisine, was John Mouse. His stuff is like 100% synths. I think
see the guy that has like "Hey Moon"? It's like
Moon.
That's okay.
Yeah, the Molly Nilsson cover.
Yeah.
We have, that was more back in the day. We were influenced by him, but that was like a big entering point, I think, for sure. Kind of just like, oh yeah, like you can write catchy music that like is interesting with like these kinds of sounds, instead of just like, you know, the standard indie rock stuff that we were more into, I think, as teenagers. What do you think?
Yeah. John Mouse is definitely a big influence for me as well. Because I was doing post-hardcore classic rock stuff growing up, and then jazz for a little bit, but that was more so for gigs. But I think a pivotal moment for me actually was like up until this pivotal moment, I was mostly into like Arctic Monkeys and like Tour Cinema Club, like that kind of stuff. That's what I was trying to write. But my friend, I think Blake was there for this too. My friend Jake, our friend Jake, showed us. He played this band for the first time ever in front of us. I was in a jacuzzi. I remember very clearly, and I turned around and was, "What is this? What the heck is this? I've never heard anything like this ever before. This is crazy." It was a band called Part Time. That was like that kind of was a gateway into me, like kind of exploring more kitschy sounds and led me to discovering John Mouse, and then like more stuff like Molly Nilsson, just like that whole world of synths. And then eventually I feel like I got more into like both me and Blake, like probably in the past 2 years, got more into like goth EDM type stuff also, which I don't think has really shown in our music that much, but
it definitely will on the new record, I think.
I think so too, yeah.
Is this gonna be a all leather CD Ghost, the next record?
There's one track that for sure is. The second track on the record is for sure, but yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff, like, at first I had this like big internal struggle with like hating, because our first band, Dream Cuisine, was also like heavily synth dominated. It was pretty much all synths and like a bass guitar. And you know, the comment you get every show, and it's people just trying to be nice, you know what I mean? It's like,
oh yeah,
thank you, but it's always like, oh yeah, it's like sounds super 80s, guys, like that's dope. And it's
Stranger
like,
Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things.
Y'all should be on Stranger Things.
Halloween or John Carpenter or something like that. And it's like, first of all, well, I've actually never watched Stranger Things, so I can't say if I like it or not. But I love, you know, 80s music is dope. I love Halloween Time. I love John Carpenter. I love all that stuff. But I think for a long time, a part of me felt like trapped. Like, I don't want to fucking like be in that box. Like, we're musicians who are making music in this year. It's this we sound like 2022 to my ears, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that watching the like dark wave EBM type scene around us, and also just like hearing synthesizers make their way into even like pop music, like See the Weeknd's past few albums, you know.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I'm much more comfortable now that like we sound like right now. And like maybe the whole 80s thing, we're getting past that. I hope.
Yeah, I feel good about it too. Like I shout out to The Weeknd and Stranger Things. You know, like I stopped getting mad after getting compared to Stranger Things. I'm like, yeah, you know what, you do. So what?
Yeah,
but yeah, I think it's like less of a. I think we're trying to go from like, hey, we don't sound like the 80s, but it's more like, you know what, the 80s don't sound like the 80s. I think the 80s are just, that sound is going to start getting associated. Like, I guess Blake already said this. It's just synths, you know. Guitars sound like the 90s.
Sometimes. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't think y'all sound like a retro. I think y'all sound like modern synth stuff to me, but
thank you.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, and like he said, Blake, it's people trying to be like, think they're giving you a compliment, but you know, it's
like thank you.
Like you guys are pretty good or whatever, or that sort of like where it's like, thanks, we try.
I think a lot of it is still compliments, and I'll take it as such.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of the fans on some YouTube videos, like they're just like really into retro sounding stuff, and that's what they call it. And like, you know, like at some point, you know, you can't completely deny that, like, yeah, it reminds you of the 80s. Like, if that's like, you know, just a category.
Yeah, like whatever floats your boat, man. Like, if you dig the super retro stuff, like, fuck yeah. I just think I was like insecure for a while. Like,
yeah.
Oh man, like I want to do something important and new and blah blah blah. You know, I wasn't even born in the 80s, but yeah.
I think some of our new stuff or really old stuff kind of did sound 80s, a bit more 80s than the newer stuff does. So I could kind of see where they're coming from.
Like when you guys are writing music, is that like an actual thought y'all are having of like, God, I don't know, this pad sounds too whatever, you know, or do you guys just whatever sounds cool to y'all? Yeah, more so now. I'd say for me, at least in the beginning, there was a lot more. There were some like subconscious thoughts of like, oh, that sounds very. Some of it would be like, oh, that sounds too poppy,
or this one sounds too 80s or cliche. But nowadays, like after 3 years of like writing like hundreds of demos or whatever, like we kind of have a system now, and like kind of know it's easier to like, it takes me like 5 seconds now to come up with a patch that I like versus like an hour or two like years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that worrying too much what it sounds like while it's still being before it's done is kind of like self-sabotage in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a fine line. Obviously, it's not like I'm just like purely stream of consciousness, man. Like, but
art flows out of you.
Yeah, I'm obviously listening back as I go,
right.
But I try not to be too self-conscious, and I think the less self-conscious I am, the more likely I am to be happy with it.
Yeah, I think my final answer, honestly, is that those thoughts, they all happen. It's just very subconscious. Like I'm not thinking, oh, this sounds too much like this. It's just very like, ooh, that button. Oh, that button instead. Oh, this. I don't know. It's very in a flow state, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, and you don't want to, like you're saying again, Blake, like you don't want to get in your own way or sabotage yourself. Yeah. But yeah, so the new record is coming out on Born Losers, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. That's there's a lot of cool synthy bands coming out on Born Losers right now, and have been coming out. That's cool. That's exciting. Was that a exciting thing for y'all, or?
Super exciting. Yeah.
We were actually recommended them through Cathedral Bells, which is how we came into contact.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So Matt from Cathedral Bells, we like just mutually followed each other like years ago.
Yeah.
We were just like fans of each other's music, always send each other demos and stuff. We worked together, CD Ghost and MIDI Memory, which is like a side project of his.
Yeah.
We did a collab together. But yeah, we saw Cathedral Bells started releasing singles with Born Losers, and we were shopping around looking for what labels were a good fit for us, or if a label was a good fit for us for this record. And we talked to Matt, and he was like, yeah, they're pretty cool. So we hit up Born Losers, who then quickly emailed us back, and turns out that they had reached out to us like a year prior, being like, hey guys, like, you're cool, want to work together? And we just like accidentally ignored it, I think.
Straight to the trash.
Yeah, or like got
Scam.
lost in the
Scam folder.
Gmail inbox. So yeah, we got on a call with them. They're really cool, and here we are. Yeah.
Yeah, we're fans of, I think I was already a fan of Corinne as well at that
great.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And then just it's been like a few months now with them, and just like already like have met like other artists through them, and like started talking to some other artists on there, making new friends, and like I've become a fan of more bands on the roster, and it's just very honored and happy to be like label mates of such great bands. And
I also feel me and Cody both regularly remind ourselves how lucky we are to like have a small group of people, both Born Losers and also friends from around our area, who are like in the music industry and are like nice.
Yeah. It's a lot of turds out there.
Yeah. So like, yeah, we just always talk about that a lot. Like, man, like, so-and-so is like so cool. We feel really lucky that Born Losers, and also shout out to all our other friends as well. You know who you are.
Yeah.
Just like everyone having each other's backs and being really nice, like makes everything a lot fucking cooler. So
yeah, there's definitely like, trying to navigate through like the music world, the independent music world, or whatever you want to say. And, there's a lot of shitty people out there that are, don't just care about themselves or whatever. It seems like, I don't know, just from the outside looking in for like Born Loser stuff, it seems like they actually care about the bands and what they're putting out there, instead of like, I don't know, just shoving stuff out there,
Definitely.
Yeah, we can definitely test to that. They for sure do. They're awesome people.
I don't know if I'm a big Anthony Green fan, and so I don't know if you've listened to his album that came out through Born Losers, but
I think Cody, you listened to
perfect.
that, right?
Yeah, I had never heard of Anthony Green until we signed with Born Losers.
Yeah.
And I'd heard of Cirque to Survive, rang a bell.
Seosin was my shit.
Seosin, yeah.
When I was like in middle school.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It was like the adjacent scene with hardcore type stuff that I just got into. But they were promoting his stuff, and I was like, wait, this is actually really cool. So I am a fan now.
Yeah, his videos are really cool too. We actually I think we pulled a couple screen grabs from his most recent video, like when we were brainstorming one of our new ones. So yeah. We're new Anthony Green fans. So
yeah. It's all his Cirque Survives catalog is great. Like Seosin's with him is great. Mm-hmm. All of his solo stuff is great. He's like, I don't know. He's got I haven't heard anybody else with a similar like voice, so it's just hard to like compare anything to him really.
His voice is great.
Yeah, is there I was just thinking about like darkwave stuff, and like there's like an image with different sorts of synth whatever sounds. Is there any thought of like image when it comes to you guys for like stage performances, or I don't know.
We're still figuring that out, honestly.
Yeah.
I if it means anything, I often tell the lighting people to like, hey, make it like moody and dark and all that. But I wouldn't go as far as to label us as dark wave or goth or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like we kind of got adopted by some of the goth scene because, like, I guess we met some of them early on. But yeah, image wise, I don't really know what we're doing. Blake can probably answer that better, honestly.
Yeah. For the stage, I think both of us have a lot of ideas that we're just not equipped to execute yet, in terms of like money and also too just like logistically. But yeah, like that's something that like popped up really early, especially being a band that like started right around when COVID happened, was like, holy shit, like it really matters like what we fucking post on like Instagram and Twitter and YouTube and all that, because it's like during COVID that was literally the only contact we had with the world. Like we couldn't even do shows. So I think early on we were kind of forced to start figuring out our visual identity. I think it's taken probably up until a couple months ago for us to even really have like a solid idea of like how to execute what we want visually across all the fronts, like social media videos, merch, products, and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
But overall, I think we're honing in on something for sure. But we were on a call with some people the other day, and somebody described us, and it was interesting hearing it like someone else say it. They're like, yeah, you guys kind of ride the line of dark wave and like the dark wave like Substance Festival kind of stuff, and like the dream pop TV girl kind of stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I kind of feel that actually. Like,
yeah,
cool. Yeah, like I don't know. I was like, it's not always that you hear someone else like describe it, and then like it's always interesting to hear what people think, but it's like that was kind of what I thought too. So I was like, oh, cool that someone else thinks that, you know.
Yeah, I'm probably wrong, but sometimes I feel like that comments like that were mainly credited to our one song, Silver Sand. Like, that's probably like the most like gothic song we have. But it kind of popped off. I think a lot of people like refer to that song when they think of us, or when they talk about more goth stuff with us. But there are other stuff I think definitely like we're going for like. I thought we're just trying to write pop sometimes. I mean, we've like said it a lot. We're just trying to be pop stars.
Right, yeah, for sure. Yeah, because even once you start getting into like sub genres of stuff. It's all boils up to like, is it a pop song? Which, you know,
yeah,
usually is.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's all. Sorry, go on, Blake.
Oh, so we were on tour with Dream Girl, and just their bassist Joe said this awesome thing. He's like, man, like everything after jazz, it's all just been pop music. And I was like, fuck,
Damn,
he's right. Yeah. I was like, that's like, well, like you're kind of saying it. Once you all boil it down, like, doesn't matter what genre you're talking about. Like broad strokes. Once you know the history books are written, this is just all 20th, 21st century pop music. You know.
My favorite jazz songs and jazz standards, I think, can all be classified as pop songs also.
True. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, yeah. Who's to say where it ends?
My favorite classical pieces are also pop.
Canon in D.
Yeah, I don't know, Birdland. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of songs we played like in jazz band in high school.
I was just gonna say that Birdland, specifically me and Cody, we played that in jazz band in high school.
Oh yeah,
yeah, we did.
I think that's a staple for high school jazz band. Yeah, I tried like over COVID to get into more recent like jazz people, like kind of, I guess it's more experimental jazz because it just, you know, watching like live sets of like 3-piece jazz ensembles and they're just kind of like, I guess they're improvising, but it's like a 30-minute song kind of like weaving in and out. I don't know. Have you guys ever wanted to do that with like synth stuff? Like, I don't know. I guess that turns into a jam band at some point, right? Yeah. I don't know. There's no rules.
Yeah. Personally, probably not. I feel like I already scratched my jazz a while ago.
Yeah.
Well, that might change. I don't know. Like I sometimes do miss like kind of the flexibility of like just doing whatever in a jam band. Sometimes, but I think I like pop at the end of the day, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I think me too. I mean, that's what I like. You know, what pops into my head when I wake up, or what I want to listen to when I'm feeling a certain emotion. It's like always a pop song, but I feel like maybe I might be a little bit more like indulgent than Cody. I also like really like just weird, like bad, maybe you could say, music. But it's just like, yeah, way more like kind of self-indulgent or drony kind of songs that just go on. And I like, yeah, I don't know if I ever had the freedom in my life to do it, I would like, I always joke like I'm going to start a noise band when I retire, but
yeah. I was just, I haven't watched it yet, but you guys know the Locust?
The Locust, no.
They're like a noise. They're like, there's a documentary that came out about their singer recently, but they're a noise synth band. Well, they have a synth player, but it's, you know, it's mostly a noise band. But yeah, but they also, I don't know, like I keep thinking of theatrical stuff for some reason. Have y'all ever done any bands with like theatrical stuff in it?
Well, what do you like? I don't know, like performance art kind of stuff.
Or like y'all are wearing the same costume. Or, I don't know.
We actually.
I was going to say closest I've come to was Dream Cuisine with our frontman at the time, Aaron.
Okay. Yeah. Our very good friend Aaron Cruz. He was our singer for our last band. He was fucking amazing. Stage presence wise, like eat your heart out, Jim Morrison and everybody. he was awesome. We had like 1 or 2 costume shows, but I think like I don't know. We're just kind of on the vibe of like fucking more of a you could either call it like minimalist or I guess like maybe brutalist, kind of just plain
like that.
Just like, here's the fucking shit, man. Like I also really, really like too. One of my favorite this random thought, but one of my favorite thing about our shows recently is like there's people who dance super hard to the music, and then there's people who are just like closing their eyes, and there's like people who are like couples like holding hands, or like people just like vibing, like I don't know, doing like Tai Chi. Like I just like love like how like I love how there's just everyone enjoys the music in a different way. Because that's I think something that I always wondered, like are people gonna dance to this, or people are just gonna like stand there? And what I've like come to find out is like all of it. So I think that's kind of a cool thing about like just kind of stripping back and like focusing on the music when you perform.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think it makes sense too. Yeah, because it's like, especially when you guys are touring around, and y'all don't have like a crew with you, so it's not like you guys can have like this. I don't know.
It almost wasn't a decision to be more minimal. Yeah. It was kind of just right. Like, we haven't even had a chance to like, or like the resources to think about theatrics. Like next on our wish list is like just some lighting, stuff we can program, and that's it really.
No, I would totally love like to reenact like fucking Macbeth or whatever, and like as we play or some shit. But yeah,
right on.
I mean, give us 10 years or so.
Yeah. Okay. I'll set the scene, the stage. A single light on Blake. Cody is lowered from the ceiling.
That's
shooting lasers and fireworks.
I want to do stuff like that actually, just eventually. Yeah. I think lighting will definitely be first step, and then we'll invest in like some like what do you call it? Whatever scaffolding to like kind of make you fly. That'll be like the next step after lighting.
Have you guys messed with like DMX software, like lighting stuff before with like MIDI and connecting it all?
Not for CDGO stuff, but nothing serious. That's like the next step though. I think we're hoping to maybe get something together for our December shows.
I've watched lots of YouTube videos.
Yeah.
That's it.
Are you, since being just like into synths and stuff, are you guys generally into tech and computers and whatnot?
Yeah, I'd say so. I know I'm kind of a nerd compared to Blake with some of the tech stuff. I work in tech also, and then Blake kind of started getting into tech stuff also. I think with like the hardware side of things, and he's kind of just a natural at it.
Oh, okay.
I'd say we both are getting pretty nerdy about some tech stuff.
That's cool because it's like being in a band like y'all. It seems like if one person was like, I don't want to learn anything, then it's kind of like, well, shit. What do we?
Like it's. I think both of us have had to pick up a lot of like new skills, which has been really cool.
Oh yeah.
Like I've gotten a lot better at like a lot of different softwares, for example, just through this band, like Premiere and Photoshop. I'm like surprisingly adequate. I'm like, what the hell? Like just through doing videos or doing posters or merch or whatever. But yeah, like on the whole like tech savvy thing, like Cody's I think started like way in a better spot. Like he did like comp sci kind of stuff like in school, and like I was stupid and I got a useless degree. But but I've just lots of like YouTube tutorials, and also shout out to Cody, like also asking him a lot of questions like what is bit rate and like stuff like that.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah, I was like, I think I got into recording. Well, so my first instrument was my dad bought me. Well, after violin was guitar, then drums, and then the third thing he bought me was I asked for an audio interface in 8th grade or 7th grade, and over time I realized that I love recording actually. And then
that was a Cubase, right?
Yeah, I was working in Cubase.
We put that Cubase copy to work
Yeah, we did. Cute, yeah. And then I don't know if I forgot if I've ever recorded Blake for any of the stuff back then. But actually, fun fact though, like this past week, me and Blake just for the first time recorded a different band and started kind of doing some producing work on the side, and seeing the same skills that we share and like working as a team, as you know, making music, seeing it like kind of translate over to like helping other bands. It's been really cool. Like I was kind of running like I was running like the mixer and stuff, and he was running cables and helping with the drum stuff, and it's just like yeah, it was like fun. It was like, okay, sometimes it's like fun to just mic things up and
Blake, see what happens.
Yeah, I think Blake's actually a lot more creative than me with that kind of stuff. I'm very much like, let's just mic the guitar up, blah blah, do this thing. And I remember we're tracking one of the guitars for this band, and Blake's like signaling to me from the kitchen. I was like, "What are you doing in the kitchen?" He was like trying to like talk to me. I'm like, I can't talk right now. And then he writes down in the notes. He's like, let's set a mic up in the kitchen. It sounds cool in the kitchen. I'm like, I would have never thought of that.
Yeah, the kitchen had a cool reverb.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's yeah. That's a good point.
So do you guys, when you're recording your own stuff, it's just you two doing all the recording?
Yeah, well, it's the only thing we really record is just my vocals. Everything else gets programmed.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So a lot of it's all just demos back and forth over Google Drive and changing some EQ stuff, me doing vice versa. And then a lot of the vocals I just record by myself at home at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 1 p.m. All over the place. Yeah.
So you said you're recording like drums and guitar with this band, or this band you're recording right now. Has it been different? Like, has it been completely different, or is it just in an analog state versus in a?
I mean, it was all
state?
Guitars and drums, so complete acoustic like mics. I've recorded bands before. I haven't done it with Blake before, but yeah, I mean, it's a totally different process than like doing it for CD Ghosts. Actually, yeah, what was different is like in the past I did like metal bands and stuff. Me and Blake played in metal bands, and I think this was the first time that we kind of the band's a shoegaze band, so it was kind of like, I guess, yeah, pretty different. I forgot I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
I think it kind of felt like returning. I mean, it felt a little bit nostalgic, honestly, miking up drums and amps and stuff, because that reminded me of like doing bands in high school and stuff like that. So it felt familiar in a lot of ways. Yeah, also too, it's just like, I don't know, familiar, but new challenges. It's just fun. Good times. Yeah.
Yeah, miking drums is like, I'm not a sound aficionado by any means, but yeah, miking drums is always like the worst, or the most like tedious thing, where I'm like, kind of like Cody, where I'm just like, just put the mics in there. Like, what do we?
See, I'm a drummer. I like being meticulous about it. And,
don't get me wrong. I love setting up mics, and I find joy in wrapping cables.
Yeah,
that's true. So that is weird.
Yeah. They're really, I don't know.
Circular?
I don't know why.
I don't know.
I think it was. I think it mainly stemmed from like. It probably stemmed from like originally like wrapping cables over old band after shows, and like, you know, the day after it's like super messy. I'm just like, guys, over under. Everyone's like, dude, what does that even mean? And then like, trust. And then I was just like, you know, I'll just do it. And I just kind of probably developed Stockholm syndrome or something. So I now enjoy wrapping cables.
You're a maniac that likes to wrap cables.
Yeah, actually, I learned how to wrap cables at one of my college jobs. They had us do competitions wrapping cables, racing each other, and I think that's
what?
Yeah, it was. I was getting trained for AV stuff, and then for your final test, you will like, you know, just wrap these cables, and I was just like, me and my friends.
Did you win?
Like, Maybe I don't remember, but I was.
That sounds like a no, dog.
I just don't want to like brag too much, but I'm pretty. I got pretty good at it.
Damn.
So yeah, if anyone wants to challenge me to rapping cables,
yeah, definitely come up to us at the next show right afterwards. That would be a super cool and definitely not inconvenient thing to do.
No. Yeah.
No, you can help me rap cables and challenge me to a cable rapping race.
That actually might bring their own. Cool. Yeah,
it's a win-win situation. We get cables wrapped faster.
They might bring their own cable though. We need to make sure everything's up to snuff and regulation. I think with these cables.
True. Yeah.
Have you ever gone down the like Moog route of wanting to get I don't know. I don't even know what they do. Like the cables where you're patching.
One day.
Yeah.
That's just like a question of money at that point.
That's true. Those are expensive.
So, yeah, maybe next year or two. I got my first synth I got really into was just my Behringer, just because the Behringers are cheap and they're pretty decent. And then Blake just got a mini log recently. But we have the Moog stuff. It's like,
I think both of us are thinking back on your hardware question now, are we hardware nerds? And I'm thinking now, I think yes, because all these questions would you do this or that or whatever, and we've both just talked about doing random stuff like this, but we just don't have the time or money. It's not we're only interested in being cool and freaking singing songs and being in a rock band. It's we're actually just we just making sounds and shit. So yeah, hopefully one day we have enough freedom and time and stuff to do all that.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about gear that's cool. Just any gear, and just I don't know. I'm not a big manual guy, reading manuals and stuff. I'll watch some YouTube videos. Don't get me wrong, but come on, you got to get your hands on it and twist some knobs.
Manuals only for troubleshooting when something doesn't.
I will say though, and I don't know if it's just because I've gotten comfortable with the process or not, but there is something about writing just Serum, Ableton, no analog. I feel I do feel like I'm able to focus on strictly the songwriting and composing. I don't have to go to the living room, turn on synths and plug things in. I just open my laptop and plug headphones in and just get to work. And I'm only focusing on composing. So I don't know if that will change when I get comfortable with recording analog, just have a setup ready. But lately, that's kind of been what I do enjoy about that process.
Yeah, I was gonna ask because, some people like to write with an acoustic guitar or whatever, and then they'll go figure out, flesh it out or whatever. Is that your process? I guess of Cody, you just said is that how you usually write songs now? Not with the acoustic guitar, but with just like you said, just bare Ableton and just finding random stuff.
Yeah, well, and for me lately, at least the past month or two, I've been updating a lot of my templates I've been taking the old CDGO synth that I like and from old songs and kind of putting in the templates and hey, it's not fixed what's not broken. So, and then I edit it from there so it doesn't sound the same. If I have to adjust.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say I think a lot of the software synths are advertised and billed as oh, you can recreate all these cool hardware synths from throughout the years, and I think we kind of use it backwards sometimes. Sometimes we don't we even when we go to play the song live, sometimes we'll just skip the analog synth, but we always start software. We both have like Cody's talking about template projects with just Serum already armed to different tracks and stuff.
I gotcha.
As well as a drum kit or ready. But from there we'll maybe try to recreate it on Cody said his Behringer or another one of our synths. But yeah, it pretty much yeah, always starts as on software. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or voice memos.
Oh yeah, actually,
Important.
yeah. Some ideas. I think one of the songs on the new album was actually just like me hearing a song at Target, and I was like, that reminds me of this, and like I have a melody in my head now that kind of copies it, but like I'll just kind of somewhat steal it, but it's not exactly the same, and I just record the voice memo, and then I'd say like a good 20-30% of songs have been from voice memo. It's just like one melody or one harmony, or it'll be something like me like beatboxing, and then like okay, then bass, and then I would sing the bass line, and then yeah.
Release the voice demos.
I think the best one is already on TikTok actually.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's sure. It's for our song Roll the Dice. That came from the main melody for that in the chorus, like roll the dice. We had the song kind of already almost finished, but the half finished, but I didn't have a melody really yet. And I wasn't even thinking about the song. I was just going to pee, but I was going to the bathroom, and suddenly like a melody popped in my head, and I can't forget that. I need to record that, and I'm recording it while I'm peeing. So the voice memo is just me humming it very like shakily and like not really trying or whatever, and it's just urinating in the background pretty loud. And so I think neither me and Blake can probably say that we're any good at TikTok. So that was like the best TikTok idea of the time. Like, hey, like
that's a good one.
So 2 years ago, I came up with like this melody, and then now this stuff.
Dramatic recreation of you recording.
Oh my god!
Get hire actors.
Maybe that's what it was missing. I think.
Yeah. But yeah, the voice memo is saved on my phone and laptop. We'll, maybe start a Patreon and sell voice memo for any people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got quite a few.
Yeah. Well, damn, we've done about an hour. What's the name of the record coming out?
Night Music.
Night Music. That's cool.
Yeah. Because Nocturne was taken. So
okay, so
mostly joking.
Night Music by CD Ghost on Born Losers, November 11th, right? Everywhere.
True story. Yeah.
Is it? Are you guys getting vinyl made or anything? CDs? Anything?
Not for the time being.
Okay.
We have tapes that just sold out on our Bandcamp actually, and
nice.
Then we do not. I mean, if you're a fan and you watch this, you deserve to know. We haven't told anyone yet though, but we just got our CDs in.
Exclusive.
So exclusive info.
They look real good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the CDs that we're actually really, really happy with how they turned out.
Yeah.
They'll be available at our album release show on the 11th. So.
Hell yeah. Do you guys have any? I'll give like in the intro. I'll give all your social media stuff and all that, all links and all that good stuff. Do you guys have any closing words you want to say? Any wisdom or I don't know, a funny thing in your brain? Sorry for being such podcast rookies. This is like we've only been interviewed I think once before this, so we're still getting our sea legs or whatever you call it. So, thanks for being patient with us, and sorry if we said anything uncouth or uncool. Oh no, this is not that show, Blake. Of couth. There's no couth here. Sorry, you guys were like aggressively early. I got my time zones mixed up. So, but it all worked out. Dude. Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, you guys stay on for a minute. But you had options and you decided to talk to me. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. It's fun time.
Hell yeah.